Most mind-blowing coincidences in history that can't be explained.
King Ombberto and his doppelganger. In late July 1900, King Ombberto I of Italy decided to eat at a small restaurant in Monza. When the restaurant owner came to serve him, both men were shocked. The owner looked exactly like the king, so much so that they could have been twins. As they talked, they discovered even more strange connections. They learned they had been born on the same day, in the same year, in the same town. They were both named Ombberto. The restaurant owner had married—
That would freak me the fuck out. Oh my God. Have you ever heard about those, like, instances? I don't know if they're going to talk about it in this. Have you ever heard about those instances of, like, twins that got separated at birth, lived the same lives, unknowing of each other, and then met later on and were like, wait, we're both married to a mark. We're both married to a mark. We're both teachers. We both wear our hair the same way. I'm like, that's fucking creepy.
a woman named Margarita, the same name as King Umberto's queen.
They both married. They're both named Ombberto. Born the same day, same spot, same place. Both married to the same woman.
Both men even had sons named Vittorio. The king
Get the fuck out of here.
was amazed by all these similarities and invited the restaurant owner to an event the next day. But on July 29th, 1900,
They both die.
the restaurant owner was killed in a shooting accident. That very same evening, King Umberto I was told about his double's death. Just hours later, while attending a public event, the king himself was shot and killed by an anarchist named Gaetano Bresci. Edgar Allan Poe's Richard Parker prediction.
What? That happened. There's no way. I don't even know what to say. They lived the same exact I mean, obviously they had different positions, but outside of that, they lived the same exact life. Same son name, same wife name. They die the same day, both assassinated? What the fuck?
In 1838, author Edgar Allan Poe published The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of—
I hated reading Edgar Allan Poe. Hated reading Edgar Allan Poe. I hated watching like videos that were like interpretations of his book, where it'd be like a heart beating in the floorboards. It was like, dude, this is just like fucking straight up like panic-induced like hallucinations. That's what reading his writing feels like. Like he's just explaining like just not like schizophrenia, but like just straight up like hallucinations the whole time.
Pym of Nantucket, his only complete novel. In this dark tale, 4 survivors of a shipwreck find themselves starving in a lifeboat. Desperate, they draw lots to decide who will be sacrificed for food. The unlucky victim—
That's like the movie Pi! That's like the movie Pi! 3.14159, and he knows all the digits of pi, and then he befriends a tiger, and he kills like a goose, but it turns out the goose is actually his mom.
is a sailor named—
or something like that.
Richard Parker, who is killed and eaten by his shipmate.
And I'm pretty sure that, yeah, that's a real story, right?
This could have been just another of—
What? No, okay, it wasn't a goose. You've never seen The Life of Pi? I'm pretty sure it's off of an actual story, but it's basically like he was hallucinating that like he was on a boat with animals and he had to kill the animals, but in reality they were actually people.
who is killed and eaten by his shipmates. This could have been just another of Poe's eerie tales, if not for what happened 46 years later. In 1884, a yacht called the Mignonette sank in the South Atlantic. 4 crew members survived and drifted in a small lifeboat for many days with no food or water. 3 of the men decided to kill and eat the 4th member of their crew, a 17-year-old cabin boy named Richard Parker. When the 3 survivors were rescued and returned to England, they were put on trial for murder and sentenced to 6 months in prison. During the trial, the eerie similarity to Poe's story stunned the—
Okay, I think that's fucked up because they murdered him. You know the story about the Chilean rugby team that crashed in the mountains and ate their friends, and people were trying to have them prosecuted? I thought that was crazy because they were already dead. Eat me. Eat me. Eat me. If we go down in a plane crash and I'm dead and you're starving and there's a potential that you're going to get saved, eat me. What the fuck? That's perfectly normal. That's fine. Well, not normal, but, you know, by situation.
public. Poe could not have known this would happen, as he died in 1849, 35 years before this incident took place. Edwin Booth and Robert Todd Lincoln. In the winter of 1864 to 1865, something incredible happened at a train station in Jersey City. Robert Todd Lincoln, the oldest son of President Abraham Lincoln, was waiting on a crowded platform when the train started moving. As people pushed forward, Robert fell into the gap between the platform and the moving train. Just in time, someone grabbed Robert's collar and pulled him to safety. This hero was Edwin Booth, a famous actor and supporter of the Union, the side that remained loyal to the U.S. government during the Civil War. Robert knew who the actor was and thanked him, but Edwin didn't know he had just saved the president's son. Edwin only found out later through a friend who worked with Robert.
Saved the president's son, but was Edwin Booth's son the man that killed Abraham Lincoln?
Knowledge would soon take on a tragic significance for Edwin. Just a few months after this rescue, on April 14, 1865, Edwin's younger brother, John Wilkes Booth, shot and killed President Lincoln at Ford's Theater. Think about that for a moment. One brother saved a Lincoln while the other killed a Lincoln. The story gets even stranger. Robert Todd Lincoln was around for 2 more presidential shootings. He was nearby when President Garfield was shot in 1881 and when President McKinley was killed in 1901.
Dude, if he's not involved in that and that's just a coincidence, I mean, talk about just a stroke of bad luck. I'd be like, if a president's ever near me, run. Because 3 presidents have been assassinated in my presence.
This pattern bothered him so much that he later refused to attend presidential events.
Yeah, in fear that they die.
Tommo Yamaguchi's double atomic survival. In August 1945, a 29-year-old Japanese
oh my god, he was near both of the nuclear bomb drops in Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Engineer named Tsutomu Yamaguchi was on a business trip to Hiroshima. On the morning of August 6th, he was walking to the shipyards when he noticed an American bomber flying overhead. Suddenly, at 8:15 a.m., a bright flash lit up the sky. The first atomic bomb had gone off about 1.9 miles from where he stood. The blast knocked Yamaguchi to the ground, damaged his earring, and badly burned the left side of his body. Despite his injuries,
from 1.3 miles away,
he found shelter, spent the night in the ruined city, and made his way to the train station the next day. Yamaguchi
He didn't get like fucking radiation poisoning?
He was heading home to Nagasaki. On August 9th, still wrapped in—
Oh my god. You survived the one nuke, and then you're like, oh, let me go back to my home city, Nagasaki. I'll surely be safe there.
Bandages and in pain, Yamaguchi went to work in Nagasaki. As he was telling his boss what had happened in Hiroshima, another bright flash lit up the sky.
No fucking way.
The second atomic bomb had just been dropped over Nagasaki, and again, Yamaguchi was about 1.9 miles from the blast. The building he was in probably saved him from more serious injuries, though he was exposed to radiation from both bombs. Yamaguchi is the only person the Japanese government officially recognizes as having survived both atomic bombings. Even after being exposed to radiation twice, he recovered and lived until he was 93, dying in—
Wow! How did he not get, like, cancer from that? He got exposed to nuclear radiation from 2 bombs? Is it because he was not in the presence of it for so long?
2010 from stomach cancer. Archduke Ferdinand—
Oh, he did get cancer. But, I mean, dude, you get cancer when you're 93. Like, that might have just been unrelated.
Assassin and the wrong turn. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, visited Sarajevo with his wife Sophie. A group of Serbian nationalists had planned to kill him that day, and their first attempt failed when a member of the group threw a bomb at the Archduke's car, but it bounced off and exploded behind it, injuring people in the one behind. After that attack failed, the motorcade continued to the town hall for a planned meeting. The assassination plot seemed to have failed, and one of the would-be killers, a 19-year-old named Gavrilo Princip, gave up and went to a small food shop on Franz Josef Street to get something to eat. Then something crazy happened. After leaving the town hall, the Archduke decided to visit those hurt by the earlier bomb. His driver, not knowing Sarajevo well, took a wrong turn onto Franz Josef Street. When the driver realized his mistake, he stopped the car to turn around, right in front of the shop where Princip was standing. Princip couldn't believe his luck. The target he had given up on was now just feet away and not moving. He pulled out his gun, stepped forward, and fired twice, hitting the Archduke in the neck and his wife Sophie in the stomach. Both died within minutes. This started a chain of events that led straight to World War I.
Do you think that if he didn't assassinate, obviously people mark the start of World War I as the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, but if he didn't get assassinated, do you think World War I would still have happened just in under different circumstances?
Soon, all of Europe
He started World War I? Yeah, that's like, this is common knowledge. I feel like this is the only one that I've heard of. This is the only story I've known.
was pulled into the conflict that would claim over 20 million lives. A single wrong turn changed the course of the entire 20th century. The Jim twins' parallel lives. In
Oh,
1979,
actually, this might be the one that I was referencing.
two 39-year-old men named Jim met for the first time in Ohio. Jim Lewis and Jim Springer were identical twins, separated at just 4 weeks old and adopted by different families. What makes their story remarkable are the strange coincidences they discovered about their separate lives. Both Jims, without knowing about the other, had named their boys James. Both Jims grew up with dogs they had named Toy. In school, both were good at math, but had trouble with spelling, and both enjoyed working with wood as their favorite hobby. The coincidences in their adult lives were even more surprising. Each Jim married a woman named Linda.
Get the fuck out of here. This is just, yeah, these are common names, but like, this is just so fucking weirdly specific. Yeah, in an infinite amount of time, this is bound to happen, but oh my God, come on.
Divorced her, and later married a second woman.
Oh my God. Married a Linda, got rid of her, and got a Betty. No.
Named Betty. Lewis had named his son James Allen, while Springer had named his son James Allen. Almost identical names with just one letter different. The similarities didn't stop there. Both men smoked the same brand of cigarettes, drank the same beer, drove the same type of car, a Chevrolet, and even took vacations to the same beach in Florida. When science
I do, that really makes me question, like, how much of your life is genetic versus, like, nurture, like nature versus nurture. How much of your life is just based off of your DNA? There's no way. There's no way they lived the same exact lives, but they never met each other once.
Scientists learned about the Jim twins, they were amazed. While some similarities could be explained by their identical genes, many others, like the names of their wives, children, and pets, seemed beyond explanation. The Jim twins became famous as part of one of the first major studies on twins raised apart, the Eben brothers' identical deaths. In July 1974, 17-year-old Neville Eben was
I've heard of this, not even just with twins, but with brothers or siblings, where one dies and the other one dies in the same day before learning of their sibling's death. And so it's just like, they had no idea. They were just like, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my brother. And they both died on the way.
Riding his moped along a street when he was hit and killed by a taxi in Hamilton, Bermuda. Almost exactly 1 year later, in July 1975, an even more unbelievable tragedy hit the same family. Neville's brother, Erskine Eben, also 17 years old at the time, was riding the very same moped along the same street in Hamilton when he was hit by a taxi and killed. But not just any taxi. It was the exact same taxi.
The same guy! Oh my God, no fucking way. No fucking way the same taxi driver would be like, bro, I thought I hit and killed you. You look just like your brother.
Taxi with the same driver that had killed his brother the year before. Even more surprisingly, the taxi was carrying the same passenger.
No! No! Oh my God, do you think they talked about it too? Like, oh, a year ago today, you remember what happened? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was great. Boom! Fucking hit somebody.
Who had been in the vehicle during the first accident. The Greenberry Hill murder case. In 1678, a mysterious murder shocked London. Sir Edmund Barry Godfrey, a well-respected judge, disappeared one October evening. His body was found days later in a ditch on Greenberry Hill, on the edge of what is now Primrose Hill in London. He had been strangled and stabbed with his own sword. The murder became a huge scandal in England. Sir Edmund had recently taken the testimony of a man named Titus Oates, who claimed there was a popish plot, a Catholic plan to kill King Charles II. When Sir Edmund was found dead, many thought he had been killed by Catholics to keep him quiet about what he knew. After looking into the case, 3 men were arrested for the murder: Robert Greene, Henry Barry, and Lawrence Hill. All 3 were found guilty and put to death for the crime. Here's the amazing coincidence.
They have the same names lined up as his name.
The victim's middle name was Barry. He was found dead on Greenberry Hill, and the 3 killers were named Green, Barry, and Hill. The 3 lightning strikes on one family.
That one, okay. The twin one, Jim twins, crazy. Fucking Eben brothers' death, crazy. That one, nah. You know, nah. It's weird, but it's like, that's not absurd. A place to have a similar name in the 1600s as the actual name of people, because a lot of last names and names in general were given based on place and profession. So it's not like, it's weird, but it's not a mind-blowing coincidence.
In 1899, in a small town near Taranto in southern Italy, a terrible accident happened.
I think this alone is already mind-blowing coincidences. When you hear about a guy that gets struck by lightning multiple times in his life, I would be scared to go outside. Imagine you're a dude that gets struck by lightning, lives. 5 years later, struck by lightning, you live. At some point, I'd either be like, I'm never going outside again, or I'm immortal, I can't die. Those are A and B for me. I'm either fearful of everything, or I'm going, I might be God. I'm like, I just got struck by lightning twice and lived.
Named Rolla Primarda was standing in the backyard of his family home during a storm when he was suddenly struck by lightning and killed. About 30 years later, around 1929, lightning struck Rolla's son when he was standing in the same spot in the family's backyard during a storm. Just like his father before him, he died instantly.
How much would somebody have to pay you to never do this? Never do this. This is purely hypothetical for the sake of being a fun hypothetical question. How much would somebody have to pay you to hold up a metal bat in the sky during a storm? Like a lightning storm. Like there's a hurricane outside. Like, boom. You just gotta go. For like 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Half a minute. If it strikes, you're cooked. You're dead. Like, you're fucking dying. I would say like $1 million. More. Maybe 5. If it was like a for real, like, boom. Like fucking, like actual fucking, like full-blown storm, lightning striking every 5 seconds.
The family and neighbors were shocked by this incredible repeat.
5 million? Yeah, bro, I'm betting you're getting struck by lightning.
Tragedy. But the story gets even more unbelievable. On October 8th, 1949, Rolla Primarda's grandson, who was named after his grandfather, was standing in that exact same spot in the family yard. A storm was brewing, and amazingly, a lightning bolt struck him too. The third generation of the family had been killed in—
Okay, it's crazy they all died in the same spot. I guarantee you it had to do with something about the structure of the home they were in. Because lightning clearly wants to strike in the same spot. It probably had to do with something with the metal around that area, if there was an overhang. Like, it's weird that the coincidence is that they were standing there. I don't think the coincidence is that lightning struck in the same spot. I think lightning was bound to strike in that spot because of whatever building or shit was around them. And they were always just in a bad spot at the bad time.
In exactly the same way, in exactly the same place. 3 generations of men from the same family, all killed by lightning while standing in the same spot over a 50-year period. The chances of being struck by lightning once in a lifetime are already very small. The chances of 3 related—
What are the odds of being struck by lightning? 1 in 15,300. That doesn't sound that bad. Or that rare. That means, wait, surely that can't be true. Because you meet around, in your lifetime, you meet around 80,000 people. So by that statistic, there's a likely chance that you'll meet multiple people in your life that either have been struck by lightning or will be struck by lightning. 1 in 15,300. Chat. That means, I don't know if I'm doing the statistics right. How many people are in stream right now? I can't see the view count. My fucking shit's been glitched. I've just been streaming the past few days. I have no idea how many people are in stream. 8K. Okay, there's 8K people in stream. That means that, following Joe Bart logic, there's a 50% chance that one of us gets struck by lightning in our life. One of us has a coin flip toss on whether or not one of us will get struck by lightning. Like, sure, there's no way. I don't think any of us would get struck by lightning. Knock on wood.
Men being struck and killed in the same—
I'm not risking this shit.
place over 3 generations are almost impossible to calculate. The Primarda family case was reported in newspapers and later included in books about strange coincidences. Mark Twain and Halley's Comet. Mark Twain was born on November 30th, 1835, the same night that Halley's Comet was passing by Earth. The famous comet passes by Earth roughly once every 76 years. Throughout his life,
And he died and it passed.
Twain was interested in this link to the comet. As he grew older and the comet's return got closer, he began to feel a special connection between his life and the comet. In 1909, when he was 74 years old, Twain made an eerie prediction about his own death. "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835, Twain said. "It is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it." Twain's prediction came true. On April 21st, 1910, Mark Twain died of a heart attack at his home in Connecticut. This was just one day after Halley's Comet reached its closest point to the sun on that visit, becoming visible from Earth once again. The comet appeared most recently in 1986 and is scheduled to appear again in 2061. Adams and Jefferson dying on July.
Yo, mark your calendar. I'm hype as shit for 2061. That'll be fucking badass. Mark your calendar. Mark your calendar. I will be 59 years old. If I'm alive.
On July 4th, 1826, John Adams, the second president of the United States, and Thomas Jefferson, the third president, both died. Even more remarkably,
Wait, what?
both died. Even more remarkably, it was the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Both men had helped create the Declaration. Jefferson wrote most of it, while Adams was one of its strongest supporters in the Continental Congress. These two founding fathers had once been friends, then became political rivals, and later became friends again in their old age through letters. As Adams was dying at his home in Massachusetts, his last words were, "Thomas Jefferson survives." What he didn't know was that Jefferson had already died hours earlier at his home in Virginia, about 500 miles away. News traveled slowly in 1826, so when many Americans heard about both deaths at the same time, they were amazed by the timing. The coincidence becomes even more surprising when you consider that 5 years later, on July 4th, 1831, James Monroe, the fifth president of the United States, also died. This meant that 3 of the first 5 American presidents all died on July 4th. Robertson's Titanic prediction.
What the fuck?
In 1898, 14 years before the Titanic disaster, an American author named Morgan Robertson wrote a story called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. This story was about a huge luxury ship called the Titan that sank after hitting an iceberg in the North Atlantic. The similarities between Robertson's fictional story and the real Titanic tragedy that happened in April 1912 are incredible. Robertson's Titan was described as the largest ship of its day at about 800 feet long, very close to the Titanic's 882 feet. Both ships had 3 propellers and could go very fast. The made-up Titan could travel at 25 knots, while the real Titanic was moving at about 22.5 knots when it hit the iceberg. Both ships were called unsinkable, and both had too few lifeboats for everyone on board. Robertson's book even mentioned that the Titan carried as few boats as the law required, which sadly matched the Titanic's situation. Both ships hit an iceberg on the right side.
And nobody looked at this book when it was made, though. I always feel like if you made regardless of, it being fucking the Titanic in the fucking 1800s or the early 1900s, it would still just be like, hey, this Titanic unsinkable boat. Wow, that really sounds like the story I read. Maybe we should change the name.
While sailing through the North Atlantic in
I feel like people were more superstitious then.
April, and both sank with a huge loss of life. After the real Titanic sank in 1912, Robertson's book became famous again. Many people thought he had somehow predicted the future, but the more likely explanation is that Robertson, who had worked as a sailor with lots of knowledge about ships, simply knew about the safety problems and shipping trends of his time. If you liked this video, subscribe.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are like supernatural or anything. It's just like creepy ass coincidences. Okay, anyways.